Anger management. That is what the topic for the day is.
Battery high.
Give me a moment.
Hi there. Hi everyone. So today, as informed, as announced, we are going to talk about anger management. Okay. So now, uh, you see, if you've got any questions in regards to anger and managing anger and all that, just let me know. Now, talking about anger management and anger and all that, see, the first thing that we need to understand is last time I spoke to you about Rumi, where he says, excuse me, dry skin. Yeah. Where he spoke about all your pains having a message. Whatever pain that you feel has a message, and an intelligent person would look at the message instead of anything else, right? Hi, Rohan. So you see, hi, Shweta. So now you see, the thing is, when we talk about anger, anger is a kind of a pain that we feel, okay? And at the time we feel anger, somewhere we also want to feel superior in that situation. And it's a struggle for superiority. And that happens, paradoxically speaking, because you are actually feeling inferior. Okay, I'm going to come to that. It's going to be a good session today. And why is it pain? Now, when we look at the root word of anger, one of the root words, it comes from Greek language, ankon. Okay, anger, root word, ankon. Now, what does ankon mean? It means the strangling. Okay, strangling. That is how you feel when you are actually angry, right? So, how do we make use of it? And what is anger management? Honestly, I don't believe in managing anger. But then I had that caption on Insta so that people understand that it is about anger management, and it is quite popular. The term, the topic, the title is quite popular, anger management. But then in reality, there's nothing to manage there. What we need to do is we need to transmute anger into something else. Okay? Now, what is it? I'm going to talk about it. So, you may want to have a book and a pen with you because this is going to get deep. Okay? And you see, anger is an emotion that we feel. And like Buddha said, we don't get punished for our anger, we get punished uh, by our anger. Okay? So, how do we get punished by our anger? Firstly, it is a negative emotion that create certain hormones inside us which is not good for our body, our mind and all that, so we sabotage ourselves. Angry people do not accomplish much. You must have seen this in movies and all that. No matter where you are, how big you are, you still end up sabotaging yourself. Okay, a person who cannot control his anger cannot fulfill his destiny. Oh, that's quite a statement. Okay, a person who cannot manage or handle his anger, okay, cannot fulfill his destiny. Anger kills your dreams, anger kills your destiny, and anger kills your relationships. Anger kills you within. Anger, shoots at your star, and it brings it down. So, what do we do about anger? The first thing that you need to understand is when we talk about negative emotions, there are, broadly speaking, two emotions, okay? And all the emotions stem from these two emotions. Now, what are these two emotions? Number one is called love, okay? Number one is called love. Now, the other emotion is the opposite of love. Can you just type and send me what you think is the opposite of love so that we keep this interactive, right? It's better that we keep this interactive. So just type and send what you think is the opposite of love. Okay, no googling, no googling, and no, browsing and all that. I want you to use your mind. It is not a test that you desperately want to pass and uh, get good grades and you don't mind copying. So whatever you feel, that's important. For this program to work for you, it's important that you be spontaneous. So what you think is the opposite of love? Be quick. I'll give you 10 seconds to type and send. And you have the right to be silly, and you have the right to be right. You have the right to be, there's nothing wrong here. Okay? So, Shweta says it's definitely not hate. Okay? Okay, so what is the opposite of love? Be quick. Another 10 seconds. Go on. What is the opposite of love? There are basically primarily two emotions, and all the other emotions stem from these emotions. For example, when we talk about love, okay, there are two types of, how do I put it? When we talk about love, there is a state called love and there is an emotion called love. I'm not going to get into those details because today we are discussing only emotions, okay? So you see, all the positive emotions that you feel stem out of love, all right? Stem out of love. All the positive emotions, you name it, happiness, or joy, a sense of calm, peace. All this stems from love. So the discussion today is not love. Maybe I'll have another session on love. But then the opposite of love is called fear. Yes, fear is the opposite of love. It's not hate, it's not indifference, it's actually fear. So why don't we love? Because somewhere we feel fearful. All right. So fear. Now people who say, no, I don't get, I'm not, can you hear me? If you can hear me, if you can, no, am I still, I'm online. Just type and let me know. Just type. Let me know if you can hear me because my broadband just went down. Okay. I'm going to. Am I loud? Yeah. All right. Okay. So, like I said, fear. My uncommon reality seminars, workshops, people who claim that they do not have fear, they're not scared. What usually happens is fear manifests in a different form called anger. Okay, people who do not showcase this or display this emotion called fear, what they do instead is they show it by becoming angry. Okay, angry people deep inside they're actually fearful, but then they will not agree with what I just said. So when we talk about any negative emotion, the first thing that you need to do is we need to go back to Rumi and understand that this emotion, this pain, this negative emotion has a message. So when we try to decode anger, what we understand is that there's a message behind it. Now, what could be the message when you're angry? Why do you get angry? Why do you get angry? Now listen, we all live by these codes, that we abide by. We have the codes for conduct or the rules that we have to live our lives. And when one of these codes is violated, okay, when one of these rules is violated, we get angry. It pisses us off. For example, let's say for example there was a time when I never liked early late 90s and early 2000s and all that. As far as I remember, when I used to visit stores and all that, the salespeople there used to address me as boss. Okay, this was the trend then, and boss had a different cheap meaning, at least in Bangalore. There was a full form for it and all that. So whether that person meant it or not, that used to piss me off because I had a code for myself. I had a rule for myself that nobody calls me boss. That's just an example. Long back, okay? So whenever somebody used to call me boss, so what has happened here is my rule used to get violated, right? And that ticks, or that detonates anger. I used to get angry, don't call me boss. Or I used to, call that person and say, go get this, chocolate for me, or go out and fetch this for me. And he's like, I don't work for you. Why should I do it? So you just call me boss, right? So now go. You work for me. That is what boss means. So you see, behavior that is not acceptable, because the way I behaved in a very cranky manner, that's not actually acceptable, because that's my rule that I had. Don't call me boss. Okay, similarly you have certain rules. For example, your husband should say these words to you, and when your husband does not behave according to your rules, you get pissed off. If your wife, or if your girlfriend, if your boyfriend, or anybody in your life, all right. So whenever our rules get violated, we tend to get angry. Okay, think about it. When was the last time you got angry, and why? There was a place near Alsur. I shouldn't have mentioned the area, so I will not tell you where exactly. So I was in my car, and a few people were celebrating something, I do not know what, and they were totally sloshed. They were drunk. Okay, and when I had to slow the car down because it was quite crowded, and I was looking out at people who were dancing there, and I was just looking at them. The moment one of those persons there, when he looked at me, you know, I ticked him off. He's like, do not look at me, don't stare. He thought that I'm staring at him. In Tamil, he's like, Paka de kannu kile. You know, I'm in the car and he's threatening me because he ganged up with others. So that is his rule. He did not like, especially in an intoxicated state. He was drunk. He did not like anybody, maybe especially people driving cars, okay, to look at him. Looking at him was like staring at him, and he wanted to claim his dominance over me that day, that night. Right? So his rule got violated. The same thing happens at home. Your brother eats away your chocolate, so you're like, nobody eats my chocolate. That, you're off. So whatever rules that you have, whenever those rules are not met, you get angry. How many of you got that? So what are your rules? Think about it. And why shouldn't we get angry? That's a question. You see, it's very simple. Like I said, if you get angry, it's going to become very difficult for you to, realize your destiny. Because you will become your own enemy. You will become a victim there. So what do? We transmute anger. It's not that you will not feel angry at all. Okay, it took a lot of time for me to, handle my anger and transmute it. Okay, now what will you transmute into? You take anger and transmute it into, listen to this very carefully, an understanding. Transmute it into maturity that gives you flexibility to become a better person. To become a better person. So now, it's not that you mustn't feel angry at all, but then for how long will you feel anger? Once you practice this, once you believe or by the situation, few people they work at such a low level in life. Let's say the signal turns red, it pisses them off. Shit, the signal got red, I can't take this, I'm getting late. Think about it. Their favorite cricket team loses match, they're all over. They fume. So they wanted the team to win, so they did not get what they wanted. So when you don't get what you wanted, it's like, one of your rules getting violated. So you see, and different people express anger in different ways. There are people who would get violent. There are people who would use There are people who would use abusive language. Okay, they get violent. Just call Papa and say I'm online. So there are people who get violent. There are people who hurl abuses, right? There are people who just seethe inside, just keep quiet and have this anger. But whatever you do, the thing is, before you express anger to others, okay, you end up choking yourself first. You strangle yourself first. That's the whole point here. Forget about the other person you're damaging. You end up damaging yourself and the other person and the relationship, and everything goes downward spiral. Okay, and if you have observed people who have achieved a lot of success, they know how to channelize their anger. They know that one of the rules has been violated, and they work on their rules. And listen, there's something called as locus of control. You may want to write this down. Okay, human beings, we always want to be in control. We want to, or we have this need of being certain of a lot of things in our life. All right, and whenever we see uncertainty, we respond in a very or anger. You just need to make sure or understand this, that there are things which are under your control and there are things that are not under your control. Other people are not under your control, no matter who that person is. It can be your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, mother, father. It can be anybody. Any other person is not under your control. Okay, number one. And situations that are not under your control. So the moment you have rules, okay, in such a way that, let's say, angry, it becomes very difficult for you to get angry. Now, did you understand what I just said? So what are the rules, opinions? Okay, even if that doesn't go well with me, I agree to disagree. You will diffuse one of your anger systems inside. Okay, you will diffuse one of the wires inside, and then when you say, I will agree, you agree to disagree, where you understand that the moment you say that to yourself, you end up diffusing another wire. The kids at home, you see their room very dirty and you get angry. Now I'll tell you, sometimes showing anger is important. Now there's a difference between showing anger and feeling anger. Okay, showing anger is where you choose deliberately to sound angry, because you cannot be very super cool everywhere. You go to a hotel and then there somewhere a little bit of anger has to be shown, but then you are still very calm. You're like, my room has got a lot of cockroaches, can you please take care of it? And that person is not stand, please no. Now you see, there are times where you will have to show anger in your tonality, but then you are, what do you say? You're pretending to be angry, get the work done, but don't really get angry. The reason is because you will end up who become, who don't talk, who ignore, and all that. That's passive aggression. They're like, I never got angry, did I? Passive aggression is also very dangerous. So all you have to do is change your rules. Change your rules. The rules, the beliefs that you have about the world, the beliefs that you have about relationships, the beliefs that you have about others. Change them. For example, I've seen a lot of people. Let's say somebody you love, calls you, and you're not able to take the call. Okay, so that person, okay, feels that, has this rule. If this person loves me, this person will take my call no matter what. Okay, so what is the best path through? So you give room in the relationship and maybe clarify it. If it happens regularly that the person is, not taking your calls, not talking much, so you can always clarify. You can always ask a straight question. I've been trying to reach you several times. You did not receive my call. Is there anything you would want me to know about our relationship? Are you okay? And then you explain what you just learned now. You see, you have certain rules in your life, and change the rules a little so that we don't, so that we diffuse the wires of anger within us, and we stay sane and stable. Because behind every breakup, behind every violent action, behind every killing, behind can be passive aggression, that is, standing. See the other person's perspective. You need not agree with that other person. Don't expect things, accept things. Don't expect it unless it's been agreed upon. This is my last message to you for today. Call, it's fine, accept it. Maybe she was busy, it's fine. Business is not working, work on yourself. And when you have certain expectations in relationships, sit and talk it out. Be it a business relationship, be it with your staff that wasn't agreed upon, or that wasn't agreed upon, then you can always sit maybe once in 15 days, work on your relationship. It's a lovely thing to do. Once in 15 days, you know, every fortnight, you sit and you talk it out. Okay? So now, uh, what did you? Okay, anybody for that matter. There are, and also remember, anger is, why did you come late? You're 15 minutes late. Where were you? And I heard, people attacking delivery boys because they were late, because the food got cold. That is the lowest mammalian and the human brain. You're using your reptilian brain. Samp, snake. Right? So it's very immature. If you want to go places, you got to understand this and decide today that you're going to use your reasoning ability, and even if there is a reason behind your anger, you will still work on that reason and try to understand perspectives instead of losing it out. Are you understanding? I'll give you a small example. This will be the last example. I give you those tips now. This example, once I was going to a seminar, okay, I was driving and I had my assistant with me, and we were actually getting late, and we were on Queens Road in Bangalore. And right in front of me, in the middle of the road, there is this guy, riding his Activa at 20 kilometers per hour. Peak hour, it's maybe 8:30 in the morning. And I'm like honking, dude, move. We need to go, move. Pa, pa, pa. He's like, नहीं जू नहीं रेंग रही है कान पे उसके, वो जा रहा है मदमस्त. Got it? I'm like honking and नहीं हट रहा बंदा. So we finally met at the signal. You know what this guy does? He looks at me because I honked at him. Entire खानदान, man. Okay, मेरे पूर्वज तक चला गया वो. And I was just looking at him. And my assistant, who had joined me new, he got very angry. He was a short-tempered guy. He's like, sir, आप इशारा दो, इसकी मैं बैंड बजा देता हूँ उतर के. How dare he talks about your mother and your sister and all that. I just looked at him, I smiled, and all I said was, see, this is the time where I get to practice what I teach. Okay, I get to practice what I preach. So let him, he is doing what he's supposed to do, and I am supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. I have a choice to make here. I can retaliate. Okay, मैं शायद एक मारूंगा, वो मुझे दो मारेगा, and that's about it. Maybe my nose is going to bleed. I'll end up damaging my shirt, dirting my shirt, and I'm on the way to the seminar. Forget it. Let him. Alright, उसके घर में भी तो माँ बाप हैं, बहन हैं. एंड फाइनली जस्ट बिफोर लिविंग, ओके, सिग्नल वो थोड़ा लंबा सिग्नल 2 मिनट का होता है, मैंने विंडो नीचे किया, एक ही बात मैंने उसको बोला कि आपकी भी माँ है, मेरी भी माँ है, राइट, आपकी भी बहन है, मेरी भी बहन है, मैं इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कहूँगा, बोल के मैं चला गया. ही जस्ट केप्ट क्वाइट. तो यू सी, आई वॉज नॉट लाइक दिस बिफोर. अगर से वो मुझे 10 साल पहले अगर से वैसे गाली देता, शायद वो एक्टिवा भी नहीं रहती, और वो शायद नियर बाय ये गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल है शिवाजी नगर में, या तो वो पहुंचता या तो मैं पहुंचता. ऑल राइट. सो बट देन नाउ दैट आई हैव लर्नड अ फ्यू थिंग्स एंड आई एम शेयरिंग इट विथ यू. You always can make a choice. You always can make a choice. It is up to you how you respond to a situation. It is people who fail in life are the people who let situations dictate their behaviors. And people who win in life are the people who respond accordingly in any given situation. respond in a very empowered manner in any given situation. That's the difference between ordinary people and leaders. How do you respond? You ask yourself. A lot of people do that. थोड़ा सा माँ की गाली दे दिया, कुछ भी हो जाए, माँ तक नहीं आना चाहिए, मैं इसकी, we tend to do that. I'm like, you need to have, a certain mindset not to respond when somebody is hurling abuses. And in fact, I tell people, जब मुझे कोई माँ की गाली देता है, मैं दो is yes, okay. If the answer is yes, whatever he just spoke about my mother, if my mother is like that, so why get angry? सच तो बोल रहा है, सच ही तो बोल रहा है, right? Or if the answer is no, my mother is definitely not like that, she's a very spiritual lady, then why get angry? What am I proving? I need not prove what my mother is by retaliating. Either ways, I need not get angry at all. If my mother is like that, the way he's describing, he's speaking the truth. So why punish him for speaking the truth? And if my mother is not like that, I know it, I know my mother better, so why lose my temper, right? And fight a battle that I know that I've already won. There's no point. So, any questions? Go on, shoot. Related to anger, be quick. The onus on the individual alone. Does the opposite alone? You are responsible for your anger. You are responsible for diffusing it. The other person has got nothing to do with it. Because I've been in two boats. I've seen where people really fingered me a lot, right? And even I fingered them back. And I've seen where I just realized what Buddha said. I learned something from Buddha, answering this question here. Okay, answering this question here, the Buddha story. Listen, this will be the last part of the session. And this should summarize everything. I just heard this story and I'm giving you my version of this story. So, you see, can you please tell the best way to control our anger? All right, stay online, listen to the story. So, Buddha was very popular for his state management. He was a very cool person, handling his anger and frustrations and all that. He was known to have a calm mind. And his stories of being at peace and being calm, his stories spread to different places. Okay? And one person in a certain place, far away from where Buddha lived, heard about Buddha's tolerance and the way Buddha lived and the way Buddha behaved, his calm mindset and his calm, his peace inside and all that. And then this fellow decides that he's going to make sure and prove Buddha wrong and show people that Buddha is not Buddha. Okay, Buddha means the awakened one. All right, that's not his actual name. That name was given to him. Okay, so Siddhartha, Gautam Buddha. So here, he decides that he's going to somehow take Buddha off. All right, he's going to detonate him, his anger. So he travels for miles together only to get back at Buddha. And finally he meets Buddha and he starts, talking really bad to him, rude to him. He hurls abuses, bad words. And Buddha just keeps quiet, with his half smile, just looking at him. Just keeps quiet. And then this fellow, now starts getting irritated, frustrated. He was supposed to make Buddha frustrated and irritated. Now he's getting irritated because Buddha is not getting irritated. Okay? So he goes on and on and on and on and on, non-stop. And it doesn't make any difference to Buddha whatsoever. So what happens is, finally he gives up. He says, मान गए गुरु. This is my version, like I said, मान गए गुरु. आप जो हैं पहुंचे हुए हैं, you're the awakened one, the Buddha. Now please tell me what is the secret. How come you never lost your cool at all? Then Buddha replies, he looks at him, he says, he asks him a question in fact. And the question is, or the question to that person, a present, and that person does not accept your present, okay, whom does that present belong to? When you are offering your present to a person and that person does not accept it, who does the, who does the present belong to? And this person thinks for a while and he says, I'll take it back home. Do you get that? He never accepted it. So now the onus is on you. You're responsible for it to be the way they want to be. If you don't get along, part ways, man. But why get angry and make the relationship toxic? Like, it does more damage to you than a breakup, right? So, can you please tell the best way to control anger? The best way to control anger is to understand, to change your, let me put it like this, to change your belief system, the beliefs that you have about your, am I audible? My headphone just fell off. I'll just pick it up. Give me a moment. There are people, can't they make a headphone? Can they design a headphone? Some big companies, it keeps falling off. The other day it was about to fall in the commode. Bloody idiots, I tell you, nobody's doing a good job in this world. Yeah. So I'm angry, right? So here, the moment you change your belief system about yourself, the beliefs that you hold about others, the beliefs that you hold about relationships, when you change those belief systems, things will change for you. Where, it is something that you wouldn't want to control. All right, you just let go. You just let go of anger. If you try to control it, it's not going to help you. Okay, so now you see, anger kills your dreams. It attacks your destiny. It attacks your stars. And it's not going to help you. Change your beliefs, and maybe this is a good topic. That's what I saw, a lot of questions coming up. Maybe I'll just make a proper course that you can follow step by step to help you handle your anger. And people who know me here, they know how angry I was when I was I'm still young, so what do I say, at the early stages of my life, how angry I was and how short-tempered I was, right? Once I threw a coffee table out, okay? And today, it's quite difficult for me to, you cannot piss me off. It's as simple as that. So here, finally, I had a query. Is anger and depression interrelated, and does depression affect your thinking, as in decision making and critical thinking? Now, depression is a very different topic. Aman, if you're really depressed, you should be seeing a psychiatrist. I'm not the right person to contact, but yes, I can definitely give you a few ideas and tips to handle depression. Okay, number one. And number two, anger and depression. Anger is better than depression if you actually look at it. Anger makes you feel alive. Depression does not. Depression is like a different thing altogether. That again stems from fear. Negative, it's like, which is the lesser evil? That's a question that you're asking. Both are evil nonetheless. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm just reading the comments here. Right? So, लाइफ में चाहते हैं उड़ना, तो सीख लो एंगर को समझना. ओके, नहीं है तुमको उसको झेलना, क्योंकि लाइफ में तुमको है उड़ना. I just made that up. All right. So get the right steps and strategies, especially students. A book free of cost along with this home study course, 1 year access. And it's a book on procrastination. If you have ever procrastinated your schoolwork, tips to handle procrastination. So that book is going to be, at Arvind, are you there? Please share the link with the audience here. So go, and yes, you can visit the link. There's no money there to pay. All right, to visit the link, yes, you will invest in it, and we have kept it really very, I mean, there's a very deep discount because of the reasons that I mentioned yesterday. Okay, so you can at least go through the link, see if it is for you. If it is for you, jump at it, because we cannot keep it at this price forever. No, that is not possible. Okay, jump at it. Look at it. You know what are the exercises that you get. You get to learn a 15-minute exercise that everybody needs to do in order to keep the focus intact and get what you want. It's the same exercise that I use to go from riding BMW today and other cars that I have. It's the same exercise. All right. The link has been shared, and then it also comes with a workbook. It's a home study course, a properly designed workbook, and then uh, the book version of the home study course, and then the audio version of it. So it's a package, all right? It's a package that you get. You get to learn 25 ways, okay, things that you can do starting today to increase your confidence level. And then the 5-step strategy for self discipline. All right. So these are the things that are covered in the home study course. It's a foundational course that every student has to go through. The link has been shared, and if you want